YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look what we got here. All new from E-flite, the Sportix 1.1. We're gonna fly it starting on 4S 2200, but this thing will fly on 3S and it'll do great. In fact, we're gonna show that after we're done with the 4S flight, but here goes nothing. And we're gonna bring our telemetry screen right over to that. And we can see our voltage. I set mine up with thrust reverse. We'll show you how to do that if you wanna use it in our unbox build radio setup. It's always nice to have that if you fly from a short strip. And notice the lights. We have red and green nav lights, as well as strobes on the wingtips and a cat in the background. Here we go. And guys, don't forget, white tail light too. Look at the ups. Out of control, amazing. Beautiful. Now this is not just a 3D plane. It is a precision aerobatics plane, but you can also do 3D with it. And of course, here in Iowa, we tend to get windy days this time of year. And so if you are brand new to flying, that shouldn't stop you from flying this thing. And yes, you can do all the Harriers and Hammerheads and all that fun stuff that you want to do. On 4S, that wasn't even 100% power until the very tail end of that push. And even with the wind, the AS3X Plus has this thing absolutely locked in. Super happy with the performance. Very wide flight envelope. The thing just does what it does. And by the way, there's no cherry there. In case you noticed, I just flew through where it used to be. Oh yeah, baby, woo! I was trying to trick the camera crew.
You almost did.
There's a cat that's hanging out on the driveway. I'm like, cat, go hang out somewhere else, please.
She's enjoying the show.
Janking it. Completing the move. So if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, you'll know that I'm not a crazy 3D aficionado. Love the tail light. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's great.
Very symmetrical upside down flight performance. As you can see, even yours truly can handle it. Nice flat turn here. We'll just jank it and come right out of it. Stall it, bring it back to planet Earth. Love the green lights. I actually love the lighting on this plane. Let's go to the bull for just a quick sec. Now, some of you might be wondering, does the thrust reverse come in handy during flight? Yes, if you want to do crazy stuff, I think it does, but I don't generically do that. Also, you might be asking, well, this seems like a pretty advanced, sophisticated model. Yes, it is, and it comes apart in simple steps without any tools in about 5 minutes if you're really taking your time. Now, if you aren't taking your time, you could do it in a couple of minutes. And I'm not joking, and this is Brian Phillips RC saying that. So,
Yep.
If you know anything about our channel, we're not the quickest at anything. And I gotta say, I am really, really happy with the way this thing flies. It looks dang good doing it. It's very fun. Almost hit that tree. Inside. With the wind, folks, look at the flight envelope. With the wind, cat's watching her back as she licks it. We're gonna jank it here. Jank it! Jank it again, bring it around. This thing just really does what you're expecting it to do, exactly as you're expecting it to do it. And that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy flying it. Beautiful sun, beautiful clouds, comfortable weather, but just a little bit more wind than I would like for this demo. Guys, dead calm's gonna make this thing amazing. Oh, and by the way, if you need safe, check this out. Oh, here's safe. So as you can see, safe is turned on as soon as I pull off of the sticks. The plane automatically levels, just like we've seen before. Limited bank angles, pretty generous bank angles up, very generous bank angles down. And so with all that mixed together, you've got basically an uncrashable plane. Now I'm back into AS3X. I also set up an off mode. So if I really want to get incredibly crazy, I can do that too. I'm gonna go to off for just a quick second. and show you you can really kick that thing around and do some nuts stuff that you might not get away with if you have the AS3X helping to resist some of those more aggressive maneuvers. But I can tell you this, I love the way it flies. I'm gonna show you almost the same sorties with AS3X on. As you can see, she still does just great because basically now we have a more sophisticated algorithm to help us run the gyros, and that is part of the AS3X Plus feature set. But because we have a fixed landing gear on the rudder, you're not gonna see any special steering assistance, which you will if you have a retract in the future and you've got the channels for it, which is really nice inside. Love the scream, that was cool. Up and over. We'll just let that thing spin for a while. And there it is, inside again. Well, I might take it out. So guys, let's see a couple of landings because we've really run this one through its paces and our battery is showing it's getting low. So we're gonna go ahead and take a landing. Our wind is at our back right now. Wide flight envelope means that you can bring it in, slip it in for a nice landing. No flaps by default, which is a little bit annoying. There we are. Woo! Thrust reverse and a little bit of wingtip just to keep me honest. Now, I want to talk about something real quick. Full up elevator, forward thrust. Grass ops, no problemo. We'll bring it back around and do a grass ops landing. So let's talk about the grass ops. The grass ops are amazing on this plane. They're huge, wonderful. I'm gonna go intentionally down the grass. It's not an accident. As you can see, very short ops with grass. Get it in the throttle, get it on its mains, and the thing is just irresistibly easy to fly. If you guys are brand new to RC flight, you've got maybe like an Aero Commander or
an Aero Scout.
An Aero Scout, excuse me, not an Aero Commander. Then there's no reason you can't handle this thing. Let's see if we can do a nice landing here. Drag that thing out. Okay, got it. There we go. One thing I can say, this plane even does perform on 3S. So if you give me a quick second, we're gonna swap out to 3S and we're gonna show you the same thing. So again, this is 4S right now. We're gonna go 3S and show you just how close we really are. Okay, so just so you guys understand kind of what's going on here, I've marked my 3S and that's what we were using in our unbox build radio setup. You can use up to 3200 4S, and that's a lot bigger battery. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show it with 2200 3S, which is what we figure some people will wanna use because if they're brand new to the hobby, they're not gonna be using necessarily 4S, but you can definitely do it. And then also, I just wanna point out one detail. Watch this, press down, spin, pull that pin up, and look, the wing is detached.
Yep.
You see how easy that is? But also how secure it is. It's not like you're giving anything up, folks. In, down, and then twist, and it's locked in. You can do the same thing here. There's one little bump you press and you pull. I'm not gonna take that one off because we do have a ball link that has to be released if you do that. And as I mentioned in the initial flight, my only big complaint right now is the fact that we don't have flaperons by default. Here's the good news. It's a matter of taking out this Y cable here and then redoing a factory reset and then treating this plane like a plug and fly, and you'll be golden for setting up flaperons. And you're not gonna give anything up because here's the thing. This thing comes out of the box ready to bind to a DXS, which is why the gear switch is usually defined as a controller for AS3X safe on off. I have then reassigned channel 5 to D, or in our case, flat mode. We'll show you exactly how to do all that stuff in our unbox build radio setup, but without further ado, on 3S now, you can see right here, we're gonna go ahead and take off. Throttle cuts off. Let's take off this way because we can. Get it on the mains. Nice soft tires mean very easy to control. And guys, this is 3S, folks. It's got plenty of ups and it's so light on its feet with that little baby battery. But you're probably not going to be doing a bunch of Harriers and stuff like that. Now, let's show you, let's see if we can get just a little bit of, I know this is not supposed to be just 3D, but it's a sport plane. But look at this, guys, on 3S, 80% throttle and the thing's holding, but then it does kind of get into a rough flip if you're not careful. So that being said, you might want to consider putting 4S into this if you get this for strictly sport flying, and even if you're brand new in the RC community. Fixed wing airplanes are where it's at. It's one of the most immersive, most fun experiences you can have in RC, and so you definitely don't want to miss it. If you're used to flying planes, if you're used to, if you're used to driving cars, trucks, SUVs, crawlers, bashers, smashers, all those fun different things, and you're not flying planes, get ready to live. I'm serious, it's gonna be the most immersive RC experience. It's also one of the hardest to learn, and that's why we're here. We're gonna help get you in the air straight out of the box, guys. We're not gonna make you have a bunch of guesswork, and we're not gonna make fun of you because you don't know stuff. We're gonna teach you what you need to know so that you can know it with us, and not just because you searched tediously for days or weeks or hours for the simple answer to your complex question. That's why we do our unbox build radio setup right here on Brian Phillips RC, and we're here to support you. Now, should this plane have flap rounds out of box? Abso-positively, it should, and there's really no good excuse for it. Look at that, awesome.
Sounds great.
Oh, so cool, guys. AS3X Plus has this thing absolutely locked in, and it is not dead calm, folks. It's not as windy as it was earlier this last 3 weeks, but it's definitely very good right now. Let's see if we can get a nice landing. Look at that, beautiful. And thrust reverse is a little bit weaker on 3S, just to let you know. Full up elevator, let's do some grass hops here. Get her in the air, get her flying, bring her right to the stratosphere, and look at this, upside down. We'll just start flying it upside down and just get that thing going. Look, it's so beautiful. Guys, I gotta love it. Okay, see if we can upside down roll it. Yes, we can. And we'll bring it right back down to the stratosphere where you can see what it is. By the way, love the colors. I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan. White, gold, black, or yellow, however you wanna look at that. Love it. I know there's some other teams that have these colors, but I'm just gonna go with it's a Hawkeye color. Unless, of course, that's your arch nemesis, or they just happen to beat you because you're a Northwestern fan. That's okay, no big deal. We can still be friends.
We know how you feel, usually.
Trust me, we know, we're Iowa fans. So there you have it, guys. What an incredible option. Brand new from E-flite. You're gonna love it. I want you to get one. If you're gonna get one from the links in the video description below. You'll help support Brian Phillips RC and all the stuff that we do to try to help support and grow the RC hobby, addiction, habit, however you wanna look at it. We love it. And that's what I'm gonna tell you right now. Thrust reverse is very handy dandy. And I gotta say, this plane goes for a long time on a relatively small pack, okay? This is a relatively big 1.1 meter because it's just a tall body. It's got a lot of girth to it, and that is not uncustomary for these F3A type planes. They got like kind of a flat body to them usually. I don't fly F3A, so please don't destroy me in the comments over that. I really don't care. So you can make your comments, whatever you want to say, but I just want you to know I don't care. It doesn't matter. I like 3D, but it's not my thing. I like scale flight performance. That's what I usually do. My preference is this, but we love this, okay? It's okay to have a favorite. It's okay if you want to change the throws and replace servos on every single plane you get. That's fine. If you want to do that, go for it. If you want to get the most expensive transmitter you can get, that's fine. Go for it too. We're going to show what we think is a good fit for the average Joe to get in the air. You can always build on what we do here on Brian Phillips RC because we love this hobby enough to not take offense to that. But I just want you guys to know, I don't know F3A. I have no idea what I'm doing with it because I don't know what it's all about. I know it's like formation flying. That's about all I know. So if you guys get the Sportix from E-flite, you're gonna have a great experience. The lighting is good. It's gonna help squeeze that last little drip of enjoyment out of October, November, and December when everybody decides to stupidly set our clocks ahead an extra hour.
And January, February,
and February.
March.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people aren't gonna be flying. We will because we're insane.
Right.
But the truth is, this plane It does what it does. It does a great job of doing it. It looks good doing it. It's a very easy build. I mean, I'm talking minutes, guys.
Yes.
You could buy this, take it to the flight field, and have it built. You got a 2mm drive. That's the only tool you'll need. And we did use shelf liner, like usual, for our battery. So, and a little bit of China glue for that. In our case, we use foam to foam. So if you guys need to find any of the supplies we use to build this, batteries we use to fly it, all that stuff, we have it on brianphillipsrc.com, sorted by plane, and then under supplies. Or in the video description below, you can look and stay right here on YouTube, your favorite platform, for video reviews just like this. So if you're looking and you can't find in the search for playlist for another plane that you want to see that's maybe a competitive offering or something that's similar to this, like the 330 that we just did, and that was a replacement for the 300, the extra 300 from E-flite. Both very good planes. We just did that one not too long ago. You can find that at bprc.me or brianphillipsrc.com. Same place, short domain, long domain, okay? Check it out. You can sort by type, brand, or affiliate that we worked with, and that'll help get you narrowed down to where you want to be, okay? Also, we've got boats, cars, trucks, e-bikes, stuff like that, also there, side by side. So you can put it right up against the Sportix and figure out where your hard-earned RC dollars are going to point you. So, at the end of the day, my thing is fixed wing, RC, scale aircraft, flown in a scale, very realistic looking, but I also like sport flying. It's fun, it's thrilling. This is the definition of an everyday flyer, if you ask me. And that's one of those things that I feel like we've been missing on a few planes recently. This one definitely hits all the boxes. And by the way, speaking of boxes, grab my pair and squeeze them for the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Even the tail wheel is squishy, folks. Too. It makes a big difference. But I gotta say, landing this thing on 4S is a lot harder than 3S. It actually carries quite a bit more inertia. It's surprising that tiny, teeny, tiny bit of difference in weight makes a big difference. So if you're gonna fly on like a 4000 4S, just remember, you could probably get the thing in the air, but it's gonna be nose heavy as all get out. And you're gonna have a long flight, which is cool. But they call out a 3200 max. I believe it might've been 3300 max, but either way, if you go big, it's gonna carry a long ways. You'll have to slide it back to keep it maintain the center of gravity, which by the way, is 20mm. And it starts about here and goes back here. We're basically nose heavy on the back and tail heavy on the front, or vice versa, whichever one you will look at that, how we put the batteries in today. So, right spot on the factory CG or the recommended factory CG, okay? So E-flite, good job. Thanks for lights. Thanks for flashing lights. Thanks for a tail light that's on the end of the rudder. That's cool, I love it. I don't wanna say it's an expectation, but boy, if it was a list, if I had a list and I could put it on there, I'd put it on there and I'd say add 10 bucks or add $7 or whatever it is that it costs for you guys to manufacture that. These side lights, love them. We love them, we love them. We demand them, we want them, okay? Flaps, I don't understand why there's not flaps on this. Even if you don't use them, I don't care. I wanna have the feature and I want it there. And that's exactly what everybody else is gonna say, just in case you hadn't heard it from your own employees. But the truth is, flaps are where it's at for guys like me, okay? You want crossover? Oh, sure, you don't want to put it because the DXS won't work. I get it, and that's a good reason, because really, if you're looking for the beginner flyer, the DXS being able to open the box and bind is a big deal. So I'll take one for the team on that, but let's just say this. I want flapperons, so I'm going to be putting flapperons on this. It's not going to take but any time, and I can do spoilerons, flapperons. I can also tie my elevator to the flapperons, and then I can make this thing flip and do crazy stuff without even going to the outside holes, which, by the way, there's about 10 more holes you can stick it in on this plane if you're into that sort of thing. But just wanted to let you know, every one of those control horns is basically on the extremity of where it can go. So you can tighten it up and make it move even further, or you can go a little further out and make it move further. So either way, you could squeeze more life out of this, and I'm still at 100% throws up and down. So just in case you guys are watching and wanting to do more aggressive 3D, it can definitely be done. That being said, beautiful plane, really well executed, great paint, strong wings, zero flex, huge, reinforced, multiple pin hinges on all the surfaces. Very happy about that. Good job, E-flite. Everyday flyer right here. Get it while it's hot. Sportix 1.1. If you guys want to support Brian Phillips RC, best things you can do. I'm going to just list them off real quick. Buy from the links in the video description below. Helps us to build relationships with the companies we work with, whether it's E-flite or some other competitive offering. It doesn't matter. It's the same for all of them. It also puts a little bit of money in our pocket for our efforts, which is really helpful, and it adds up. Guys, we got a family of 6. We're expanding the aerodrome to include a gigantic building there. My excavator is behind by another week and a half. I'm sorry, I promise he's really coming. Believe me, I wish he was here. He's supposed to be here a week ago, but stuff happens. And I'd rather make sure he's gonna be here before the freeze, because that's what we need, and that's what we're hoping for. So keep supporting us. You guys have always been so good to us here on Brian Phillips RC. And if you like what you see, smash the like button, click the bell for notifications when you do subscribe, because obviously you're gonna subscribe. There's so much content here. You can't squeeze it into one day unless your day is like 1,000 years long, okay? Because we literally have thousands of videos right now for you to watch. So if you wanna go back and watch an old video where we didn't know what the heck we were doing, and we barely know what the heck we're doing now, then you can do that, and you can compare and contrast and say, oh wow, he actually is better than he was 10 years ago. So anyway, at the end of the day, we're trying to get better incrementally, a little bit at a time, despite our best efforts. I have still screwed it up in many ways, but the camera crew is getting much, much better, and that's awesome. She's great at filming these incredibly difficult to film planes, especially these 3D planes or 3D-like planes. I know it's not a 3D plane. 3D plane if it's you know, one of the FP.
Sport plane.
It's a sport plane. It is a sport plane.
Yeah.
But is this sport plane for you? This is the other question you're asking. Yes, it is. If it's your second plane, sure. Third plane, sure. First plane, it's probably a little much for a first plane, but we do have safe, and we'll show you how to turn it on, okay? Now, if you have a DXS, we did not show how to use the DXS. I'm just gonna tell you this, it's so dang easy. You bind it. Follow the binding procedure. It's very simple. You put a bind plug in, you turn it on. It's like, I mean, it's not hard, okay? So once you've done that, you're set. Also, we set this thing up start to finish. We don't even use the preloaded program, okay? If you have an NX, everything except for the IX12 or DX lineup, you can pretty much turn on your transmitter, bind it, and it will prompt you. Do you want to pull in the application that's pre-stored on the memory?
As long as you've updated your transmitter to work with
which you should,
AS3X
because here's the thing, even if you don't need AS3X Plus on any other plane, you want the extra channels, so do it. Do it now, don't wait. Okay, so other ways you can support us: Patreon, monthly support; YouTube members, monthly support. Thanks guys for being members. YouTube super thanks, one-time donations, and PayPal for one-time donations. And make sure we're friends and family, otherwise you're just lining their pockets for no reason. That being said, Sportix is awesome. I'm really happy with this. I didn't know what to think. It looks a lot like the Acro that we have for the image, which I think is just awesome, because we finally have the Acro plane that we call all of our planes Acros when we start building them as profile. So if we didn't answer your question, we'll do our best to get it in the comments. And if we don't, one of our awesome friends will help answer in the comments below. And if that still doesn't work, Patreon is a great way, because we do have a little bit easier access to communicate there, because there might be like 100 of you there and there's like hundreds of thousands of you here on YouTube. So it's just by pure happenstance. We still go through the comments. We read most of them. We don't reply to all of them like we used to, because we physically can't keep up.
Yeah.
We wish we could. We love it. It's super encouraging to read your positive remarks. And we must have blocked enough negative ones that they just like all left.
Yeah, I suppose. We're just that amazing now. No one has anything bad to say anymore.
Oh, but anyway, guys, we know we're imperfect people. We like to laugh at ourselves when we crash. We do the best we can, and we hope we're bringing a good enough product that you'll come back for more, because at the end of the day, we have more quality reviews coming right around the corner, because I love this hobby, and I know you do too. We want to grow it. We want to help prevent one and dones. We want to get people back into the hobby. We want to get you out of the chair into the air. If you need help on the Unbox Build radio setup, watch that video. It's published right now. You can watch it. We'll show you step by step on everything we did, with the exception of the flight part, which you have seen now. These are the Maidens. Okay, so 2 Maidens for you. Beyond that, we will probably in not too long order, we're gonna have some sort of a follow-up where we're gonna show you exactly how to set up the flaperons, because we know the vast majority of people that get this plane are gonna want flaperons, okay? If you use the DXS, no, don't do it. For flaperons, you won't be able to do that, okay? We'll show you how to do it on a programmable transmitter. You don't have to use the NX10, by the way. You could use an NX6, NX8, NX7, because now you have 14 channels on all those. But you might wanna have our knob or the rotary knob so that you can set gains when we go to the plug and play setup by factory resetting. the regular receiver. And I gotta say, the thing's got plenty of flight time. It goes together in seconds. I think we have just like a total of 4 screws. Very easy, very easy to put together. Strong hatch, latch, makes it super easy to put in the battery, and it's gigantic too. You could put a battery that's like 4 times as big as called for and it would fit. But I wouldn't recommend it because it's gonna fly very heavy. It's gonna take a lot of the fun out of it. And strong landing gear with soft tires. What more can you ask for? Maybe a Carbon Z.
I don't know.
At some point.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Sportix 1.1 from E-flite. Awesome plane. Get one today, guys. And thanks so much for being here with us on Brian Phillips RC. If you want to check out the rest of our offerings, you can either go to the playlist, it's the easiest way to search, or you can head over to bprc.me and you can do comparison and contrasting by type or brianphillipsrc.com, whichever you prefer. All right, that's all we got for you today. Thanks for watching. Come back for more.